Metanomics is brought to you by Remedy Communications and Dusan Writers Metaverse.
We have time for one more topic, and I want to follow up on what you just talked about, which was what is going on in online communities, in virtual worlds. I mean, one of our event partners here in Second Life, the Democratic Sims, I mean, they actually have their own self-elected government and set their own terms of service and so on. And so, I mean, do you see that as being a long-term solution where people come into virtual worlds and self-select? And related to that, do you see a difference between people selecting, like Linden Labs sets their terms of service and community standards? Do you see a difference between them making decisions versus the government, or Linden Lab making decisions versus the actual residents of the world?
Oh, absolutely. I see a difference, starting with the fact that you have the ability to exit Linden Labs and Second Life at any point you like and choose a different online community or virtual world more to your liking and more in line with your particular values or desires. Whereas we do not have that option, obviously, with our government. We're sort of stuck with the one we've got. And if government regulates and sets rules for all of us, it essentially forecloses the opportunity for different communities to develop that suit our values. That being said, I can appreciate concerns raised by some people when certain companies who grow very large have very heavy-handed approaches or policies governing their communities. And I think what's really great about the new tools that are out there and the new strategies that are out there in these virtual communities is that people have been shown to rise up and make themselves heard in organized fashion. And that's what's really exciting to me, what happens in Second Life when I hear about various groups that set up independent communities with different standards. Yes, sometimes Linden Labs does come in, steps in and says, well, we won't tolerate this or that. But I think eventually Linden Labs has to be a good community steward and listen to the various sub-communities within the larger community. This is what I like to use a phrase from my favorite modern political philosopher, Robert Nozick, who wrote about the idea of a utopia of utopias as the optimal form of government, the notion that there isn't ever going to be any one central vision that should govern all society and create a utopia. It's better that we have a system that allows many different utopias to flourish underneath an umbrella. And that's what I think is happening in worlds like Second Life. At least I hope it will start happening more, where you have a broad community of interests and you allow different communities to develop within that broader one. That's the same approach I take to the real-world government, too.